The maddening silence. Nine chains. 9 chains is all I needed to make sure that my front door could remain shut for an eternity and keep me dragged here inside, away from the corrupt outside world. Locks adorned on top like Christmas decorations, each with its own specific, unique key. One was shaped like a snake. One shaped like a fox. Another one had the visage of a dead cat, while one more had the appearance of a screaming, agonized face. That one resembles me the most. A deranged lunatic who just wanted help, but now instead runs around like a hyena, searching for food. Everything is a lie. Everyone is fake. Nobody ever wanted me. They never even cared. I know it. I guess some sort of context is probably needed beforehand, huh? Well, it's simple. I am someone who has lost everything this world had to offer. Even as a kid, I had no hopes of any kind living the way I did. How would I turn out growing up? Would there be someone to help me when I needed it most? Would I ever find love? My family was poor, since my father worked at a low-paying job at the factory near the outskirts of town. It was the only thing he could do. It's not like he was educated, or even cared about that stuff. In my younger days, I saw a lot of shit stuff happen around me. My mum was murdered when I was 7, when she went out to get groceries by herself one day, which then left only me and him, my dad. When I was 18, I then lost my only grandmother to cancer. She was the only one I truly loved in my outer family. But when she left us, I was totally devoid of any sort of spark in my life from that point on. More stuff happened after that, but I don't want to go into it right now because it's not important anymore. Despite this trauma, I still somehow managed to get through school and even made it to university. And oh boy, was it actually a ton of fun. Through my own work savings, I was able to gladly afford to study away from my home in another city. The freedom was palpitating. Having free will to do anything, whenever, wherever, but of course still making sure I'm responsible. The biggest thing that I got in those 3 years there was the reality of meeting actual friendly people in my life. I was shocked that nice people even existed, but it was there, and I adored every second of it. For once, I felt valued and cherished in a safe place. My friend group over there consisted of around 6 people. I am not naming them, but I had them. We all kind of studied different subjects on campus. One dude did engineering. Someone else did computer science. Another one did physics. Me and another girl did biomedical sciences. It was so good because we could then just all study together as a group and focus while also having laughs. Having jibes at each other at who would graduate first out of all of us. Every Friday in each of our dorms, we'd then play video games all night, together, partying it out as if we were in paradise. I was so happy and enjoyed living during this segment of my life. And then, we graduated. The tech nerd IT guy graduated first at the end of the day, while me and the biomed girl graduated near the end. After that fateful day, we all then got distant since obviously that was university done. However, we all promised to stay well connected for a while after that online. And we did. We still had the occasional game night here and there, but even those would slowly die out eventually, as the months went by since we last all met together in person. Everyone got busy trying to work on themselves, as did I when I made it back home. My dad was much older now in age at this time, and yet he was still working at that same old factory just to survive. It did pay off though, since we could actually afford to live in a better house now, and in a clean neighborhood too. Just barely. I was successful in finding a job as a lab technician near a local pharmaceutical branch in the city, where I could then help in supporting my elderly man. Life was, surprisingly, still good. And then I hit the age of 23, and it all crushed me like a black hole had been birthed before my eyes. One day, my father had been involved in an accident at work while he was using one of the machines in the factory. It was such a severe mishappening that it caused his right leg to become completely paralyzed, limiting his ability to work, and ultimately leading to his departure from ever working there again. I guess that's one way to start your retirement, right? So now, I had a huge responsibility to become his biggest carer, while also working full-time at my pharmaceutical role. Helping people out is a big burning passion for me. It makes me feel satisfied when I can get the job done, while also making others smile through my kindness. But taking care of him was grueling. My dad's behavior was so much more different now. He was changed. Sometimes he wouldn't speak words to me for days, while on the contrary, when he would speak, all I would hear were slurs and yells directed towards me when trying to care for him. He would complain to me about small things such as the food being too hot when presented towards him, or shout at me if anything was wrong with how I was doing my job. On many occasions, he would show signs of memory lapses, forgetting who I am, or where he lived, or how his life was like. This added stress into my life, which would unfortunately show up in my own work as well. Some days, I'd have to take days off of my job just to pay more attention to my dad. I did my very best, but what I got in return was mental abuse, psychological torture, from a man who I no longer recognized anymore. Someone who I wholeheartedly believed just hated me now. For what reason, I do not know. One day, I took him for a routine checkup at the hospital and found out that he had now acquired late-stage Alzheimer's. I don't know how I didn't catch on to this sooner. The mood swings, the amnesia, the sudden changes in behavior, the silence, all of the symptoms were there. It all made sense. Times were truly tough for me. All the happiness and comfort I had in the years previously were now drained away into a basin of despair and hopelessness. I would feel alone. I missed my friends when we would hang out together, sharing jokes and laughs with one another. I knew with how late he was diagnosed with that disease, he may not have had much longer to live now. We had to endure like this for 5 more years, before soon, at the age of 71, he passed away on a dark tempest night at home. I felt hollow, shattered by the fact. Now I really was alone here, living in this empty home. I had nobody anymore. During this agonizing period of my life, I tried to carry on with everything else and move on. I still had a job to go to, and still had to live for myself. However, even that was forcefully taken from me. The facility I worked at sometime later was forced to shut down, and I was to be laid off from my job. That gut-punched feeling I got when my boss talked to me in person about this. I remember it all too well. I saw through his eyes how he both looked like he was sorry for this decision, but also that he just didn't really care. He doesn't care because that's just how greedy people in the world act. They're all the same, and they're everywhere. To ensure that they can fill their pockets with gold, they will try every possible action to cut corners towards achieving that goal, even if it is at the expense of other people's lives. Let's be real. Nobody in this world cares about other people. They don't care about how you feel, or how you act, or for whatever words you wish to tell them. I have had to learn this the hard way. I've seen it before my eyes. It's why I'm in this state right now. Since I was both unemployed now and also alone, I really had no idea what to do. So I tried talking to my friends again, just to be able to talk to someone and be able to have people to fall back on. After a few months of us not talking in our own group chat, I was the first one to take a stand and break the ice. Hey guys, what's up? There was no response for about an hour. But then out of nowhere, the place erupted. The biomed girl from my university answered first, slowly followed by everyone else. It was so great to see everyone typing again after so long. These were the moments I missed. We all started to converse with each other, side conversations all over the place, just so that we could check up on one another. One of the friends, the engineering guy, was currently in the process of getting his master's degree, while another dude at the time was just getting ready to go to a party with some other mates that evening. Just small things like that made me remember the old days, when everything was a little more simple and manageable. Moments of peace and bliss. Everyone gave tidbits of their current life standings, and then I came along as the last one to type up my speech. I told them everything. For the most part, everyone else's situation in the group was normal and good. But then I came along and broke the positive chain link. I remember after typing up my troubles to them, that nobody spoke for around 5 minutes. However, afterwards, they then began to respond. Oh man, dude, I'm sorry to hear that. That's so unfortunate. I hope things get better for you. We're here for you if you need a chat. We love you. I'd never been this deep about my personal life, or my mental state with these guys at all. It did feel good talking to them about it. I was scared of how everyone would think of me, ruining the vibes and all, but their words did comfort me for a while. It gave me the slight motivation to keep going. During this time, I was so focused on trying to look for more jobs that I could do. Yet fate was just too unfair towards me, and I was very unsuccessful in getting any placements. The only good thing in that moment was the fact that I was getting benefits to survive while on the hunt. But that's about it. Soon enough, my motivation and drive was just slowly beginning to diminish. I would be speaking to my friends a lot during this time. We were all speaking a lot now, as if the moment of silence had been broken when I typed up in the chat that day. This went on for a while. Everyone else shared their own achievements in life, being happy and dispensing that to others. However, I would always come in and bring out my manifesto of misery towards them. It's fine, you'll get through it. Stay strong, you got this. I wish I could help you out, but you can do it. Slowly but surely, my perception of reality was changing. The more I spoke to them, the more I burdened them. The responses would be the same. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope things get better. And then it started. Once again, I wanted to talk about my personal issues. How I had been denied a job for what, I don't know, maybe the 100th time. I spoke, almost vented, about how unfair my life was, because at this point, I was starting to lose my sanity from it all. Silence. I was met with silence for a whole day. No words of encouragement or condolence. Just mute, deafening silence. I remember that day. I reacted in such a disgusting way that I saw myself twitching from the lack of input. I think what made it worse was that the next message afterwards was of them seeming to ignore what I had written and just change the subject entirely. Like, they simply skipped over all of it. I was confused. Was it something I said? Or maybe, was it the fact that they had enough of it? Those guys were all so positive when interacting with one another. I'd watch them talk about how life was going good for them, laughing together with what seemed like no stress. Now, of course, I wouldn't always just come in and vent in that group chat. I would still interact with the others as if everything was normal, and they'd also return that mutual communication back to me. But from this point on, whenever I mentioned my own personal struggles and problems, I would get ignored entirely, and no further input would come from my friends. And sometimes, even if they did respond to the matter, they would just say the same things. I'm sorry to hear that. You know what? I can't blame them. What more could be said? That's just how unfair life is. Because now I just know. Nobody can come and save you. I have had to make myself aware of that fact. A harsh, cold reality. This went on for a while. For far too long. To the point that I then just stopped talking to them. They also stopped talking to me as I slowly drifted away from them as a ghost. It seemed like they didn't really notice or care either. They didn't message me or ping to ask how I'm doing. So yeah. Is this how friends are like then? Where you can't talk to them about complex things in your life? Wanting love and support? Or discussion for advice? Caring thoughts? Were they even truly my friends then? If I couldn't talk to them about this anymore? During this period, I was deeply and emotionally dissociated from the outside world. I didn't go out anymore, barely ate, or even wanted to sleep. I'd at least try walking around in my empty home on occasions, but other than that, most of my days would be spent slouching in despair at what had happened to me now. What was I becoming? Was I in the wrong? Did I overstep in my judgment? Was I the problem to begin with? You know, sadly, there's only so much that other people can say or do for you. It's all that you can get, really, in response. And I say this now, after looking back at it all. It's not like someone like your friends would help to buy you a home, or adopt you if you felt lonely. You'd need a miracle if you had someone in life who could do that for you. Who could just take care of you, as if they were your new parent figure. That's what I wanted, but couldn't get. 2 months had gone by of me ignoring my interactions with that lot. Until then, I received a private message from one of them. It was the biomed girl I studied with. I was genuinely surprised to see the notification pop up of her message. I immediately checked my phone to see what she said. She asked me how I was doing, and that she noticed I didn't speak with the others a lot recently. Now, how was I to respond to that? She should obviously have known what I was going through. So isn't that question really pathetic and stupid? That's what I thought at the time. I told her how it was like living the way I was, and she then advised me on something to do. which should and was the appropriate step to take. Seeking help from a professional person to manage my mental health issues. And yes, that is the right thing to have done. As bleak as your situations can be in times like these, everyone says that there's always someone around who can listen to you. Someone to vent to. So I guess this was her way of saying to maybe discuss these matters to people who could give professional advice. I thanked her kindly and ended the conversation there. It was pretty brief. I then tried to make contact with some of the places that she recommended. The first place I tried, I couldn't get a hold of them because it seemed their lines were busy. The second place I tried, I was met with an automated voice telling me that the service is no longer in operation anymore. The third place I tried said they were closed. The fourth place I tried, silence. I managed to get to nobody. So, what did I do next? Cried my eyes out, that's what. Did it so much that I really wished that I could just gouge them out from my sockets. It was at this point that my whole world was turned into an uproar for me. I became delusional and paranoid. Did she do this recommendation as a show of actual love for me? Or did she do it as a way to just make me shut up about it with them forever? To shun me away? Negative emotions were seeping through my head. Looking around my walls, I couldn't help but notice words written upon it in black ink. They hate you. Forget them. It's all a lie. I started scraping the walls with my bare hands, tearing the wallpaper, while simultaneously filling my face with tears of woe. My heart rate was beginning to skyrocket. Breathing heavily, blurry vision, sometimes even drooling and throbbing from the mouth. They never cared. Nobody ever cared. That is my current situation. I'm sort of in my own world now. All because of the silence. Their silence. Everyone's silence. I am no longer in control of my senses, or my fragile body, for a matter of fact. It's too much for me to take. Suddenly, I ran towards my cupboards and rummaged through them like a thief looking for gold. Like something was just drawing me towards them. Sensing something curious inside the wooden drawers and closets. Inside one of the cabinets, I found the locks. Those locks that I have already mentioned at the start, that I then used to shut down my front door forever. Such abstract items. Things that I've just never seen before, but are now magically spawned here. I feel like they were specific, but I just couldn't understand. I didn't question it, and as said before, I rushed myself towards the door and used all 9 of those locks. The snake, the fox, the dead cat, the turtle, the jellyfish, the owl, the deer, the butterfly, and finally, the agonized face. The one that looked identical to me. Afterwards, I collapsed to the ground and stared at the door for a minute, trying to grasp at the situation. I think I just couldn't fathom the fact that nobody could help me. They couldn't listen to me anymore. That they had grown tired of hearing my endless screaming about how life is just so unfair and cruel to me. I was becoming a burden to them. Breaking free from contemplation, I then decided to prepare myself for the act. At the same time, I also felt such strong anger towards my surroundings. I punched my walls repeatedly, thrusting my fists into them and creating fractured holes birthed out of my rage. Why did it have to come to this? Why does nobody save me from this nightmare? I didn't want words anymore. I wanted action. I didn't want people to tell me it's going to be okay. Everyone always says things will get better soon, and that during tough moments in life, you will get through it. And yes, maybe some people do get through it, and that's wonderful. But what if someone can't get through it? What happens to those who cannot? Have you ever thought about that? Is it really true then, that good times will eventually come, and that you won't have to suffer anymore? Maybe that's why they ignored me completely. Just like that, without a word. Maybe it's all easier said than done. Sugarcoating the reality of my situation to get through some small talk. How distraught that makes me feel when my frustrations are suppressed by other people's happiness and wishes coming true. I threw objects all over this house, smashing glasses, shock-putting furniture over the floor, making a dump yard out of the rubbish of my own home. I don't care anymore. I just had enough. I ran into my bedroom, panting for breath, searching for the weapon. It was kept hidden inside the safe in that room. I unlocked it easily enough, and then made myself downstairs to the middle of my living room, with my gun on hand. When I got the gun, the adrenaline inside ceased. The panic stopped, and somehow I was calm amidst the cries of anguish within my mind. When I entered the living room, the mess that I had made before now seemed to become organized, with the rubbish objects placed against the walls of the room, almost like it had been prepared for me personally. In the center of the room, that now set out to be empty, candles were lit on the carpet and formed themselves into a circle. I felt drawn to that spot, and so I quietly walked over to the inside of the candle-lit space. That's where I still am. It's so still here now, and the room is completely pitch black, except for the light summoned by those candles beneath me. I'm just standing here on the spot. In front of me, I can just about make out the appearance of a mirror hidden within the darkness. When I look at that mirror, I don't really see myself, my reflection. I recently have never liked looking at mirrors because I don't wish to see what I have become. I seriously mean it. I've had enough of it. I don't know what's real anymore. It's all just so blurry here. Even now I can feel the light of the ritual candles slowly dimming. In the matter of a whole year, I've lost everything I once had. And in the matter of a whole 3 months, I lost my whole perception of existence. I feel broken and betrayed. Nobody is here for me anymore. Nobody was ever here for me. You know, maybe having friends is a bad thing. For starters, they just come and go. One minute they would be the closest thing to you in life, and the next you'll find them only as a stranger to you. Absolute fakers. All of them. Before my manic episode started, I left that group as quietly as possible, leaving the group chat and erasing all memories of them from my mind. They couldn't save me, So why stay yelling at them? They couldn't speak to me properly anymore. So why even bother interacting with them? You can tell now just how insane I have become through all of this. I'm one of the unlucky ones who doesn't get a chance anymore to celebrate being alive. I've given up. Everything will be fine. You'll get through it. Yeah! For some it may happen, but that's not gonna happen for me, is it? I needed a miracle to find someone in this world that you know could constantly comfort you, or give you all that you want just to survive. Like a home, a new family. That is what I wanted. Sadly, stuff like that is very rare, and I've had to learn that the hard way. I have the gun positioned to the side of my forehead. I'm being serious. I'm gonna do it. Why? Why can some people feel more comfortable in this world while others have to face hell like this? Why are some people more lucky than others? Why did nobody truly want to help me? You cannot blame me for believing I was a burden to them all. I knew they couldn't handle my problems anymore. I was a random wanderer to them. Well, it doesn't matter anymore. Nobody will have to care about me or think about me. Even now, though, I do wonder, and I've always thought about this. How would other people react to knowing I killed myself? What would they feel or say? What would they do next? I wish I could know. Maybe then I could see if those guys truly were my friends, or if they just had me there for their own comfort without caring about me. The silence from their mouths was deafening, and still is. Silence is a weapon. It speaks volumes to your character and how you think about me when I say something. And you just don't respond, leaving me on hold. For me, it means you cannot be bothered to help or understand. People may say otherwise, but this is my opinion from what I have gone through. It's another form of horror that I have had to endure. Enough to drive me into a state of corrupt delusion at how I view this world. I want to ask you, if you knew me, In the state that I am now, would you save me? Would you love me? Take care of me? Heal me from the pain? Huh, that's what I thought. You're all the same. Every last one of you. You disgust me. Just as how I probably disgust you. So I hope you're happy out there, living the life you want and have. You know what? I even wish my friends also have a wonderful, gorgeous life as they go on in the world. You obviously don't need to hear my words, and I don't need to hear yours. I don't deserve anything good, because I guess I'm just a really bad person. My index finger is preparing itself to pull the trigger. Soon, it will all go black for me. In these last few seconds, I look towards the mirror again. I can see myself and watch as I slowly begin to form an overgrown, frightening smile. Beautifully abhorrent.